chances are you or someone you know has been pitched by at least one of them. They call it network marketing, social selling, and even digital franchising. Names, same tactics. And for millions who've joined, the story ends exactly the same way. Little to no profit, and in almost all cases, a loss. MLM stands for multi-level marketing. On paper, it's presented as a business model where you earn money by selling products and recruiting others to join your team. But in practice, the real money doesn't come from product sales at all. It comes from constant recruitment. In a genuine business, profit comes from selling products or services to real customers who actually need those products or services. In MLMs, however, the so-called customers are usually the recruits themselves. They purchase the products primarily because it's a condition for joining the scheme, rather than because they truly wanted or needed those products. And that's what many call pay to play. The structure you're looking at right now is the classic MLM setup, sometimes called a binary balance plan. Now, some MLM companies say you need to recruit 2 people, others say 4 or 5 or 6, etc., but that's beside the point. The math always plays out pretty much the same way. In this example, we'll stick with the simplest case. Each person recruits 2 more. On paper, it might sound amazing. How it works is that not only do you earn from your own direct recruits, but also from their recruits, and their recruits, and so on. This idea is often sold as leverage, and the pitch goes something like this. Do a little bit of work up front, like finding your first 2 recruits, and then your income will supposedly go on autopilot from there on. And money will just automatically roll into your bank account as more and more indirect downlines get recruited. And at certain checkpoints, a payout is released. For example, every time you have 6 people added to your downline, say 3 on the right and 3 on the left. But here's the reality. The math guarantees that well over 90% of participants end up stuck in those bottom layers. And these are the people who don't make any profit at all. Most of them don't even break even. When you factor in the costs of staying active, such as buying products, training fees, event tickets, etc., the number of people losing money climbs to well above 99%. Now I'm showing this diagram with only 7 layers, mainly because of the lack of space on the screen, but here's the key point. It doesn't matter if you stop at 7 layers, 10 layers, 20 layers, or 30 layers. The math plays out the same. The majority of participants will always be trapped at the bottom. Here's how the color coding works. At the very bottom, we have the red zone. This group makes up at least 75% of all participants. They never make a single dollar of profit, and all of them lose money. Above the red zone, we have a smaller slice, the orange zone. This comprises about 12% of participants. They do make a little bit of money, but nowhere near enough to cover what they've spent on products, fees, or training. At the end of the day, they're still losing money as well. Above the orange zone is an even smaller group, the light green zone. This represents around 6% of participants. These are the folks who've broken even, or they're close to breaking even. They might have earned back close to what they've spent, but that's it. And note that by this stage, we're already at around 93 to 95% of people who are not making any profit at all. Above that is a tiny sliver, the dark green zone. This is only around 3% of participants. They make a profit, it is very small, nowhere near the life-changing money that they were promised. Just above that, we have the purple tier. This extremely small group are the first to actually earn what most would call decent money, but it's usually not a life-changing amount of money. And finally, at the very top of the scheme, a population usually less than 0.1%. That's the promoters or founders. They're the ones taking home the largest paychecks, funded by everyone below them, particularly by the 95% who lost their money. Now listen, if these numbers already look bad, it's about to get a hell of a lot worse, because this whole chart assumes a perfectly balanced pyramid. MLM companies love to show you this neat, even structure. It makes it seem like, well, everyone has the same chance. But reality doesn't usually look like this. It looks more like this. Most people either don't get a recruit at all, or get at most 1 recruit. As a result, the red zone expands upward beyond just the bottom two layers. Even people who are 3, 4, or even more layers above the absolute bottom often still fall into the red zone. The same goes for the orange zone. It creeps much higher than it appears in the perfect pyramid. That's why the real percentage of people losing money isn't just at the base. It spreads upward, leaving well over 99% of all participants stuck in the red or orange zones, all of whom have lost their money. So why do people still join MLM despite all of this? That's because MLMs aren't really selling you products. They're selling you a dream. The dream of financial freedom, of working from home, of being your own boss, becoming an entrepreneur, and also the promise that leverage, which I explained earlier, will carry you into passive income once you've, quote, done the work of building your team. And what about those products? Let's talk about them. Nearly every MLM hides behind products, claiming it's not about recruitment. But those products and services are always a sham, massively overpriced, low in demand, and they're essentially designed to disguise the money transfer scheme. This video is just the beginning. I'll be publishing many more videos exposing MLMs, from their overpriced products and fake business opportunities, to breaking down common fallacies, false equivalencies, myths, and the sleazy tactics these companies use to brainwash and manipulate the masses. So if you've ever been pitched by an MLM, consider joining one, or want to help a friend or family member avoid getting burned, make sure to subscribe and check out the links in the description for more of my MLM videos. Because the best way to beat an MLM is to understand exactly how it works.